go.
Well, the world we live in. We are live at 11:05. I hear 3, 2, 1 from Josh, and we're off. 3, 2, 1. How do you do it?
Yep.
Somewhere in there. I'm almost stressing out today over, man, I got to do live at 11:05. But I've been working on this most of the day. It's Kevin's car. It's a 27. I think we showed parts of it. Oh, did I say on BC?
No.
In case you didn't know, on BC. This is Spirit Cars. Josh has been, I guess there's a map of the United States, and there's a light everywhere that somebody's going live on Facebook. So we're a little dot on the United States map now that we're live. So how we get an audience, I don't know, but you're here to see us live, and some of us will see us later. What we do is we build cars here at Spirit, and this is Kevin's car. We've been building it for a while now. He put it together himself. We built the body and the frame and a lot of the parts here, and then he sent it back to us to finish it. It's got a crate motor in it, and we've been working on that. We're waiting for a couple pieces on the motor. Valve covers are coming. We're going to change up the wires a little bit. It's got a air cleaner here, but we've painted like the fuel pump and the water pump, and I mean, so we're pretty much together. I don't see a okay, an Edelbrock carburetor, you'll want to have a pressure regulator, so we'll probably need to add that. That's just a good tip you might want to remember, and that's what we do. We're doing this not for a drama show, not for a reality show. We're doing this to help folks build their hot rods. I hate to say we're the experts, but we are a professional in the sense we get paid to do this. It's all I've ever done pretty much, and at Spirit we build cars. We don't build just cars. We build kits, we build parts and pieces. We can help you get what you need as far as to finish your car, but kind of a motto we have around here is we don't build cars even, we build dreams. So we're helping Kevin get his dream together. Here's a tip, and we'll talk to Kevin, or Kevin if you're watching. What will happen is you need to run about, I don't know, 3-4 pounds of pressure, otherwise your carburetor is going to continue to just flood. I'm assuming that's a 600 Edelbrock carburetor. So run a fuel pressure on here with a gauge on it, you can tell. One other thing I noticed, and I feel like a teacher now, grading your assembly. Kevin, you did good. You're a B plus A, but and we've jumped up and down on this a lot, so I feel safe with it. But if you can see this through frame fitting, it's a little tight here. If you can go a little higher whenever you do these, go a little higher and you know, just give it more clearance. Now you're not going to have a problem. The only way you might have a problem is if this is trailered. When you're trailering a car, it's more than just your car bouncing on the bump. What it has a tendency to do, the trailer is bouncing, so your car is going up and down, and it's getting a lot of there's a lot of play in your suspension on a trailer, whether you realize it or not. You're not in the car, but it gets a lot more. So just be aware of that. Check this once in a while. Make sure this, you know, it's not touching that. You don't want to break that line, but I believe it's safe. We've looked at it. We've jumped on it. You're not going to have that much travel on your normal driving. So we're to the point where I like this color. I like this color a lot. I got me an old 79 Chevy truck. I've been using a beater farm truck. I'm fixing to put it in the shop and paint it. I'm sold on this color, so I'm going to paint me an old Chevy truck. It's I think it's midnight blue.
Midnight blue pearl.
Is it a modern color? What year is it from? Do you know, just midnight? Is it a custom color? Or is it?
No, it's off of a vehicle.
So it's an OEM color. We don't know which one, but I like it. So I'm gonna. My truck's gonna have this. I'm gonna make it so nice I won't want to take it out and play with the goats with it. But anyway, got it buffed. I really recommend that you buff the car before you put it back together. That way all the compound and everything doesn't get into the cracks of the chassis. It's just hard to clean up. And this is your best opportunity to do a good detail job is before you put things together. I can get at places where once I put it together I can't get at. So really detail it out as you're buffing it. I've got this buffed. I've got it glazed. I mean, we've looked at it. I'm old now and I need glasses and don't see so good, so we get Josh to go over it, and so we'll have somebody go over it, and if they see anything, maybe put a piece of tape on it, or wherever you might see a little something, and you can go back and get it. Again, this looks very, very good as far as it's probably better than the average new car you would buy. I did some. I started in the automotive industry, auto body man, so I've done warranty work at I started at a Chrysler place. They actually allow 2 specs per panel when you're doing warranty work. So, I mean, there is flaws in even a brand new car. So there's no such thing as perfect, but we can make it as nice as possible. And just the more time you spend, the nicer it gets. That's just bottom line. We'll have to get the gas tank in here next and put the cover on. Here's something that if you're doing a 27, a Spirit 27, you can see the body is, obviously this is an area that it'll flex. If it's going to flex anywhere with 2 doors, it can up and down. We've got it bolted in the back. We've got it bolted in the front to the frame. This area right here, what we'll do, I'll make some L brackets that go from the frame to the back of the body, because you can, well, it's not totally bolted down, so it's moving, but if I put a lot of stress on it, I could actually move it up and down in the door jamb. If you put this in here on the 27s especially, with 2 doors, it will take care of that. Now if you get a kit from us, there's really going to be no indication that there's no holes in the frame and there's no hole on the body, but that's something I would just highly recommend you do. So when you're traveling down the road, I mean, your door gap's not getting up, open and closing. So we're to the place now. I need to make sure I got all my parts here. I need to make sure what I need next. I need to get my steering column in. Do I have my column drop? We just decided not too long ago on gauges, exactly what we're using. I don't think they're here yet. Do I have my gauges? I'm going to cut. The reason I didn't cut my holes for the gauges first is because it's a lot easier to paint it like this, wet sand it and buff it, and I'll take and put 2-inch tape across all this, mark out my gauges and drill through that tape, and that'll help me from scratching it, and then I can put my gauges in at that point. A lot of people ask how we mount our steering box. Let me...
Fuse block.
Fuse block, sorry. If you look at the back of the fuse block, between here and here, this will snap off of here. We snap this off, screw this into the body. When I say the body insert. If you can see under here, I've got my hand going up. I'm putting my hand between the gap in there. What I'll do is I'll cut a chunk of wood, and it'll be about 3/4 of an inch gap here. Push that wood between there so you got something to screw into. So you can screw that little piece that comes off the back of your fuse block into that wood. Now make sure you don't have a screw too long, you go out the front of the firewall. But that's secured then. And once you go to put your wiring looms in, I'll bench wire that. I'll probably do it next week, and we'll do a little section on that. But once you got your looms everywhere they go, you can come over here with your fuse block and just snap it in. I'll have all my wires done already. Excuse me. For the gauges, for my switch, for my lights. There'll be a plug for the steering column. That'll all be just kind of plugged together there. I'll have my wires that'll go down. I come down the left side. You can also see, now this is a Spirit car, but if you see here, I'm sticking my hand, I can stick my hand down in there. That'll go straight through, and it'll come out the bottom, and I can get that to come out the inside of the frame on the bottom. And also, if you look down the rocker here, this is hollow. So what I'll do on the back side, I'll come down and I'll go back through that open section in the rocker panel.
Probably can show it back there. Yeah. Where the insert is back there.
Okay, so we'll come out right here with the wires. I come out the left side to do my tail lights and to do my fuel sending unit. The brakes, I got a brake switch of pressure switch for the brake switch will be right underneath by the master cylinder. You can come down and get that. I go down the same hole and come out the front, and on the front I'll have a loom that comes out that'll have, depending on how I hook up my fan, whether I use a switch, a temperature switch, or if I just hook it hot when it comes on with the key. The fan wire will come out this side, a horn wire will come out this side. I'll split my headlights, so I've got headlights coming out both sides instead of coming across the front. It's just a cleaner look. So I'll come down and have my headlights come out. A lot of times I'll drill a hole in the top of the frame and drill a hole in the frame here and come right through, and that way the wires are hidden and in the frame itself from the front of the cowl to the front of the car where they come out. The right side I'll come out with all my sending units. You're going to have a choke. We have electric choke on here. You're going to have your, if it's got a tack or if it's got just the ignition, you got your starter wires, pressure, temperature, oil pressure. So all those wires will come down the right side. Again, through the rocker panel on this side, all I run through the rocker on this side is your battery box is going to be up here. So I can get my positive from the battery, go down the rocker, come out where you don't see it, and I can hook my positive right to your starter right over here. Clean, clean, clean. It's all about clean. So
You have the headlight stands. That's another question. How do we attach them? We had them here. I'm looking in this.
we're polishing them.
Are they in this cabinet?
No, they're probably over by being polished.
Okay.
So the headlight stanchions, we use 3/16 on our frame, which is plenty thick. The headlight stanchions, you might be able to see here, it's got the holes already. You can see the holes here and here. We drill through the stanchion. It's an aluminum stanchion. The wire, there'll be a hole here because the wire comes up through the stanchion. This has painted headlight buckets. This will look pretty cool. Normally they're chrome, but these will look good. So these wires will come down through the stanchion, go into the frame. We drill and tap 3/16 is the depth here, so we just drill and tap and put a button head Allen right there. Works out real nice. I mean, it's not the only way to do it. Sometimes you can weld on a headlight bracket that's got an arm for a shock. There's no one way to do it. You want to be a little bit individual. That's one of the areas that a lot of people do different things. So
I know one of the questions they had when you were talking about jumping your starter wire, what gauge wire do you use? You know, how thick of a wire? I know that was a question someone asked.
Oh, for your alternator?
Yeah, from your alternator to your starter?
Well, most of the kids will have it. A 10 gauge or somewhere in there. You can use a fusible link. Do not go too small on your alternator wire. I mean, 12, but
So no 16 gauge?
no 16, no 14 gauge, no, nothing small like that. No, it's got to be pretty significant. It doesn't have to be a battery cable, but something fairly significant. I've kind of give you some ideas of where we're going with this. So what I will actually do next on this car, I'm going to stand back and look at it. I'm going to look at all my parts. I'm going to make sure I got everything. And I'm going to go to the board here.
Make sure you have a board.
Make sure you have a board. I would just get a board. Let's do it.
We've at least got his name up.
And we got, Kevin, you got your name here. So we got to, what do I got to do? I got a wire. I got a motor dress up.
It's got his name on the board, and it's not bad. Like in school.
Yeah, I got to tighten up. There was some brake issues. So,
Yep.
and the way the transmission cooler, he had a different style than we use, and it just doesn't work between the battery box and the. So we've got to do something with that. So I'm going to put it down there. And hang doors, and I mean, at this point, I can fill this up quickly. But I'm going to look at the things that I need to probably purchase and the things I need to get done first in big categories. And then once I work off that, again, I will fill the board up again, because I assure you, once this thing looks like a car and you think you can drive it, you can probably just stand here and think about all the things you need to do, and you're going to have a whole board again. One thing that will be on the board at some point is fluids. And we will check. I'm assuming, I've seen this in here, we're going to put a break-in motor in. A break-in. So we've got a break-in oil.
And they recommend changing your break-in oil after 500 miles. And you can use a synthetic or a conventional.
We'll have break-in headers. We happen to have them. Your motor's going to, especially on a new motor, is going to run hot for your break-in period, and it could chalk up a set of coated headers, or it could blue a set of chrome headers. So we use a break-in header. Just on this motor, I could fill the board up. So don't get over carried away, making lists, but definitely make lists. I don't know. We probably did 15, 20.
Yeah.
So are we 15 minutes into this? Hopefully I gave you some ideas.
Here's a good thing before we go, the shifter, where you can see the hole. And we were talking about going off of the mounts.
And I've seen somebody ask about the neutral safety switch. Very important. And it's not in this one. Low car has a neutral safety switch that screws in right here. And I don't know where it is. We'll have to find it. Kevin put this in. We may have to call him to see if it's here, if it's in his parts. But on the low car, it goes there, and as you go through, there's a ball in it that pushes back and forth. You're shifting through the gears. But I would recommend a neutral safety switch for sure. The way we cut this hole is this is already a location on the body and the frame if you get it from us.
There's the other body mount.
And the body mount. So these holes are there. You can measure from these holes when the body's not on, which is on the frame, and kind of triangulate to find out where this hole goes. And then when you cut it, that way you can cut it without having to get under there and fit it. And when you walk over here and carry the body over, it just fits right on it. So, battery, or do we get a radio in this one?
I don't think so.
No radio, but a lot of times we'll put a radio in here. It fits really well. The seat will come down. So Kevin, I don't know, are you getting excited? I am. I really love the color. I do. I just really love the color. I don't know if you can see it well in the pictures there, but I was working on this morning. Just before we went live, we were pulling the 32.5 window out of the mold. We were all there, heavy mold and parts, and I'm pretty excited about that. After lunch, we're going to go out there and take that apart, and it's a pretty neat car. We haven't built a lot of them, so it's still a new car for us, and we may talk about that, putting the metal in that next week. I lost my coffee break contemplations, and I got here, and 5 minutes after I got here this morning, I lost my coffee. So this is not a good day for the whole coffee thing. So I've got Pass It On. We always finish with Ernie's got coffee break contemplations and Pass It On. The Hot Rod Man wrote these. I finished with a quote out of this. What is the last one in the book? Let's read that one today. I'll just read this and then read the last one. Pass it on. I hope you have enjoyed this book. Please share it with a friend to promote unity and happiness in the world. Okay, with a smiley face. We have notes too, so I guess if you want to write your own happy thoughts, you can write your own happy thoughts in the end. So sending a message of appreciation promotes happiness. With a small amount of effort, those who amplify love and happiness will live a beautiful life and be a beacon in the darkness to others. Well, that's pretty good. I like that. So I need to send Ann a note of appreciation, maybe some flowers. You too, Josh. Oh, by the way, Josh is my son-in-law. Married my daughter, so this is kind of a family business here. So that's it for today. This is Friday. Have a good weekend.